Silk is one of Chinese old great inventions and can be traced back to the Neolithic period, beyond 4000 BC. Not only was it luxury fabric, it was the only one available to mankind at the time. Chinese ancient books recorded that a silk cocoon fell into the tea of
雷祖
the concubine of Emperor
皇帝
around the 3rd millennium BC. She took the cocoon out from the tea and unwound the silk thread of the cocoon, and then wove it. After observing the life of silkworms, she began to grow mulberries and raise silkworms. She is then considered to be the silk goddess. By the way, mulberry, moraceae, leaves are the main food of silkworms. Archaeological findings in
河南、浙江
confirm that Chinese already used silkworm cocoons to draw silk and weave various fabrics with primitive machines in the Neolithic age. The characters of silkworm, mulberry and silk also appeared in oracle bone inscriptions. For further on oracle bone inscriptions, please refer to my first video in this playlist. Archaeologists found silk in a mummified tomb dating from 1070 BC in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. The term silk people was first used by the Greeks and then by the Romans to refer to the inhabitants of distant China. In Shang Dynasty, about 1600 BC to 1000 BC, and Zhou Dynasty, around 12th century BC to 256 BC, other varieties of silk, such as brocade, had appeared. In my previous videos number D003 and number D004 in this playlist, I mentioned that to introduce lion and wheat into China, the opening of the Silk Road by Emperor Wu 156 BC to 87 BC of Han Dynasty was a must. The same case also applied to silk but in the reverse flow. So, before the establishment of the Silk Road, silk was exclusive within the East Asia, with its production being monopolized by China. Although silk was exported in large quantities abroad, the emperor banned on exporting silkworms, and sericulture remained a well-kept secret in China. The punishment for illegal exporting silkworms and or even sericulture was being beheaded. The use of silk was not only for clothing, but also for many others, including writing. The colors of clothes indicated their social class distinctions. Silk was also applied to musical instruments, fishing, and bow-arrow making. Paper is another Chinese old great invention, and the first paper-making material was silk cocoon residue from the silk thread production, which later progressed to using leftover silk fabric. Maps painted on silk were found in the tomb of
辛追
estimated in around 3rd and 2nd centuries BC, in
马王堆 湖南
Silk was also used to pay taxes and rewards. At that time, someone estimated the price of silk products based on a certain weight of gold, and the length of silk became a currency standard in China in addition to copper coins. For more than 1,000 years, silk has been a diplomatic gift from Chinese emperors to neighboring and vassal states. In 30 BC, shortly after Rome conquered Egypt, normal trade between ancient Rome, the new overlord of the Mediterranean, and Asia began. This trade was marketed by the Romans' desire for silk from the Far East. Imports silk led to the flow of gold out of Rome. Such a high-quality silk product was later considered a symbol of decadence and immorality. But as the princess who was betrothed to the king of a neighboring country refused to marry without having silkworms as a dowry, finally the ban was broken, and silkworms began to spread out in Han Dynasty. In Han Dynasty, silk production formed a complete technical system. Pure silk gauze or
素纱禅衣
was found in a tomb from Han Dynasty. It is proven to be the lightest fabric ever in human history, weighing only 15.4 grams per meter square, that supposedly current technology cannot replicate it yet. Emperor Ojin Tenno, 201–310, of Japan received 2 weavers from Wu state, so he required to seek more weavers. In Sui Dynasty, 571 to 619. Sericulture was introduced to Japan on a larger scale through frequent diplomatic exchanges. From the 4th century BC, silk began to reach Greek. On the borders to the Roman Empire, silk became a monetary standard for estimating the value of different products. By the 6th century, by sending 2 Nestorian monks to Central Asia to smuggle out silkworm eggs in bamboo jars, the Byzantine Empire successfully obtained silkworm eggs and began to breed silkworms. Appreciating high-quality Chinese goods, Greece grew mulberry trees and raised silkworms in the Mediterranean basin. At the same time, the Arabs also began to produce silk. With gradually expanding conquests, the Arabs spread sericulture throughout the Mediterranean coast, including Africa, Spain and Sicily. After losing the monopoly on silk production,
Tang
Dynasty, 618 to 907, regained the major silk suppliers and industrialized silk products on a large scale in the
Song
Dynasty, 960 to 1279. As with the broad cultural exchange with foreigners and the southward shift of the economic center, the silk technology and production area had undergone reformation. In the short term, hemp and cotton began to appear with their own special production techniques. And China continued to export high-quality silk to Europe and the Near East along the Silk Road. During
Ming
Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, and
Qing
Dynasty, 1636 to 1912, silk production tended to be specialized, with more varieties of fabrics and more colorful patterns. The jacquard loom machine was widely used. The appearance of satin and velvet fabrics enriched the variety of silk weaving, and the pattern style tended to be realistic and full of meanings. The silk industry center gradually moved to
Jiangnan
region. The silk trade channel also shifted to maritime Silk Road. The modern state of silk development and production is not in the scope of this video, so I just conclude this video now. And thank you for watching.